Welcome back to the Delaware Way. The opioid crisis has hit Newcastle County, all of Delaware, particularly hard. Here to talk about that is Matt Meyer, the Newcastle County executive. We talked about you possibly joining the lawsuits or acting on your own in suing the pharmaceutical industry. That could take a long time. It's a current problem. What's happening in the state? What's happening in your county right now to fight the crisis?
Well, first thing residents should know is it's continuing, and it's continuing. The opioid epidemic is not going away. The second thing that residents should know is we're doing everything we can to prevent it, like the lawsuit that we're talking about, and also to equip our first responders, our paramedics, our fire service, our police with all the tools to both save someone's life when they show up at their door and channel those individuals into treatment, long-term treatment. So the first thing we did about 6 months ago, we found in an analysis of our first responders' response to an overdose patient, our paramedics, one of three groups of people is going to show up at the patient's door. A paramedic who is fully equipped and trained, has Narcan, life-saving Narcan. Police officer, similar, fully equipped and trained. Fire service, their ambulances show up. They're fully trained, but many of them were not equipped with Narcan because our fire service in the county is a volunteer fire service, and a lot of them just couldn't afford the cost of the medication. We teamed with Jay Patel of Green Hill Pharmacy, County Council, all of us, there's been a lot of talk of contingency funds. We all took money from our contingency and made sure that every fire company in the county is equipped now with life-saving Narcan. And they've already administered in about 6 months nearly 100 doses of the life-saving medication.
I know this is a state problem, not a county problem, but I'd love to hear your opinion on this. It seems like now thousands have been brought back to life, literally brought back to life with Narcan. And yet, most of them go right back to the addiction. There's nothing that forces them to get rehab. Should there be? If that is expended on you and your life is brought back, shouldn't you be taken in front of a judge where they can tell you that now you have to go into rehab?
Well, yes, I agree. Very interesting. One of the first things I did when I came into office is I tried to meet with every county employee. I went to paramedic stations, our 9 paramedic stations across the county, at all hours of the day and night, and I just sat with paramedics and talked to them. And one thing that's stunning is that when paramedics receive a dispatch call from 911 with certain addresses, they know as soon as that address is said exactly what the problem is. They know it's an overdose because they've been there 3 times this week for an overdose. They go, they administer Narcan, they save their life. Then the person either refuses further treatment or they're taken to the hospital, and then 2-3 days later, they're right back where they started.
So you're not curing anything?
We're not curing anything. We are looking very, very intensely with the local hospital system about how to address that. How do we funnel that? How do we take that initial contact with a patient and funnel them into longer-term treatment? And we're going to have an announcement on that shortly.
Many times that has to be involuntary, though, wouldn't it? I mean, the government's already acting. You're already saving a life. The taxpayer's paying for that action. Shouldn't they know that you're now taking another action to try, and you're saving lives?
Maybe, Larry, but I think first we should start just by there are a lot of people out there that want treatment, that want additional engagement and don't know where to go. So we're starting by saying, okay, that's one situation, right? Where involuntarily we're giving you services and maybe we should require you to have additional treatment if we're going to save your life. We're not even addressing
that. That's state law. I get that.
First, let's say, hey, if we're coming administering Narcan and then you don't know where to go next, maybe you wake up the next morning, need help, and don't know who to call, we're going to make sure somebody shows up at your door and gets you that help.
And now one additional problem to this. We've had many people here who are on the front lines of this crisis that have rehab centers. They said that the state is woefully underfunded and there's just not enough centers right now to deal with this opioid crisis. So either they get people in and right back out where they become addicted again, or they can't even take them in. Do you have that problem in Newcastle County right now? Do
Yes.
you have enough?
Yeah, there's a shortage of treatment beds. The state, along with the Attorney General, the governor, the Lieutenant Governor, and the Attorney General are intensively working on that problem, where you got to be very careful in Delaware. There's a lot of government in a small place. We're very focused on first responder response, taking individuals undergoing overdose and channeling them into long-term treatment. So some of this, the number of dollars required to really fund the system properly, I think we got to look to our federal government, and so far they haven't stepped up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry.
Appreciate you coming in. Matt Meyer, Newcastle County Executive. When we come back, the Delaware Labor Secretary to talk about how the state's doing when the Delaware Way continues.